Hello my friends, today we are going to focus on the topic sword throwing in the combat. Does it make sense or definitely not? We're gonna discuss it today. So let's get started. There are definitely many historical manuscripts that sword throwing in the combat has been done. And of course it's been taught in several schools like the part of the other skills that you can have for the sword combat. It's definitely not some kind of main skill, but today we're gonna discuss it, that I believe that in some scenarios was definitely really good to have this skill in your sleeve. Because for example, with the sword throwing you can cover the distances that you can't even with a fast movement. So for example, if I'm from a target right here, it's very quick to get into this target. But if I'm all the way up here, you know, I would have to go and reach like from here. So at least like a 1.5 meter to full extent. But for the sword throw, you can cover this really fast from the same distance. But that's the main point. You definitely need to have some kind of plan, because right now you just throw away your main weapon. So you definitely need to have more of them, and after follow up with the other attack, run away, or that needs to be your plan. But there is definitely several great techniques that can be applied for the sword throwing. Some of them are more effective and some of them less. So I will show you today which are working for me the best. The one that I definitely want to discuss first, you were able to see in the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson. It's actually a pretty cool scenario because soldier is running at the Mel Gibson. There are also other soldiers that are attacking him as well. So he need to finish him real quick, and he throws actually two-handed throw, full spin, and it hits perfectly the soldier. So first of all, the technique, it's absolutely accurate, and it even seems the right distance, about like a 5 or 6 meters. If would be like a soldier in the light armor, you know, like a maybe only Gambison or something like this, and Mel would throw heavy big sword, I am definitely sure that it would make insane damage. And after, because there's many bodies on the battlefield, he can pick it up any weapon that he wants and follow up with other attack. But disadvantage of this technique, it's actually because the sword is spinning and also target is moving. It's very, very difficult to figure it out the right direction, even if you are Mel Gibson, you know, because distance from the target, like I said, it's about 5 or 6 meters, and you have to still count that the target is moving. So imagine for one rotation I'm already pretty far, and let's see if I can go at least even close. Actually we got it on the first try. But imagine I wouldn't have all this time to like set up and everything, and like I said, the target was moving. So you would have to judge so well the distance, because you would have to see like, oh, okay, now maybe it's on the sweet spot, now I can throw it, boom. But technique like that would be very, very difficult to apply in the combat, because you are from such a long distance. But it's definitely possible. You see, now it was a little bit under rotated. So for fun, we can try one more time. And by the way, if you don't know, I'm using old school two-handed machete katana by Cold Steel, just for this example, because it's very durable and pretty big, like a legit sword. So one more time for the full spin. All the way up here. Wow! Almost Mel Gibson. So as you can see, not so reliable. And of course, what I learned about sword throwing, I would personally use it only in the combat scenario from the shorter distances, maybe maximum up to 4-5 meters, because right after that, first of all, maybe you can see the sword flying, so other soldiers just can wait and dodge it easily. But if you are on the shorter distances and you are, for example, in the guard, you know, like this, and the other soldier maybe don't have the idea that you want to throw it, and imagine you go, you know, and after still you can follow up and do whatever you want. But like I said, from my opinion, this style, this guard seems most realistic in the combat, maybe with like a katana or something like this. And if you don't know, actually Miyamoto Musashi used in one of his battles tanto for defeating one of his opponents, which is basically the same shape like this one, but of course way shorter. But as you can see, these techniques, when applied really well, could be devastating, because this is just the wood, but I can show you. This one is pretty soft, but look at that. The whole sword can be buried inside of the wood. So really incredible. And again, talking about throwing techniques, like I said, this one is working like for any distance up to very short and medium distances. But for the longer distances, I would again not use it so much. There is, of course, the classic spear style. That seam is working really well, but in the combat scenario, if I have, if I have sword ready like this, you are already expecting that I will be throwing, right? So in the combat, it will have to be switched really quick and after follow up, otherwise you would see it coming, right? So that's maybe the disadvantage of this grip, but otherwise it's working so well, very consistent, and from shorter distances it's working really well. It's classic like a spear grip, you see, really well, very powerful and supernatural, because you are used to throw spear like this, and with the sword it's basically same, because you are holding on the balance point. And again, this technique works really well from very short up to like this medium distances. If I go even 6 like this Mel Gibson distance, I think it will be now maybe over rotated. Let's see. It wasn't bad, I just missed the target. So maybe even with a little practice you can do this one. But as you can see, it's flying, so maybe the soldier would have time to dodge it. But from very short distance, like I said, it would be difficult to dodge and after follow up, you know. So these grips are working also so well. And I also discovered that this dart style, like a bullet spin, the sword, working also really well from short, medium, and sometimes even longer. So let's see if I can do a few bullet spin, you see. So the sword is now making like a bullet spin, and these are in the historical manuscript as well. You can see these grips on the guard, and you are basically spinning with your index finger. Only disadvantage of this style, what I can get from my head, is I don't understand how in the combat I would switch it so quick. I would have to definitely practice it for that. You know, imagine like you are pulling it the guard and maybe something like this. Yeah, maybe it can be done fast, even from the draw. But again, like I said, you would have to practice it really well. So maybe we can imagine that you are picking up with this grip. Yeah, maybe it can be really applied as well. But like I said, it would definitely need to be some realistic scenario, because if the other guy is already close and you are throwing your main weapon, now you don't have nothing for defense. So it's definitely big risk, high reward, but in some scenarios it definitely doesn't make sense, especially if you maybe never practice this style. So also it wouldn't make sense. But if the skill would be right and you have some other options, other plan, definitely super powerful. And like I said, you can cover the short distances really quick. So guys, let me know in the comment section below, what is your opinion on the sword throwing? Does it make sense or no? Let me know. And if you want to support the channel, there's going to be a link for my Flying Dragon throwing knives. But for today, that's it. So thank you buddy for watching. Share, like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.